What if I told you that the daily habits you trust to keep your blood pressure in check might be the very thing silently destroying your cardiovascular system before it is too late? Here is something that shocked even me as a medical researcher reviewing the latest cardiology data. The overwhelming majority of strokes and heart attacks in people over the age of 60 do not happen because they ignored their blood pressure entirely. They happen because they were following outdated, dangerous advice that their doctors simply do not have the time to correct during a rushed 15-minute appointment. We are facing a massive crisis of misinformation. You might think you are doing everything right by taking your pill every morning, eating your low-fat yogurt, and checking your numbers on that home monitor once a day. But the shocking truth is that these standard routines often mask severe, life-threatening spikes that occur when you are not looking. The pharmaceutical industry and standard medical guidelines have conditioned us to treat blood pressure like a simple math problem. But your cardiovascular system is a highly complex, dynamic network that changes by the minute. If you are making any of the 5 worst blood pressure mistakes we are about to uncover today, you are essentially walking through a minefield blindfolded. The 5th mistake on this list is so incredibly common that I guarantee nearly everyone watching this has done it at least once this month, and it can literally trigger a hypertensive crisis within hours. This could mean the difference between enjoying a vibrant retirement and spending your golden years recovering from a catastrophic cardiovascular event. Before we begin, I want to know, where are you watching from, and how long have you been managing your blood pressure? We are reading and replying to every single comment, so drop yours below right now. It is incredibly important that we build a community where we can share these vital experiences. Now, without any further ado, let us get started. Let us start with the first massive mistake, which is relying entirely on a single morning blood pressure reading to determine the health of your entire cardiovascular system. Here is what most people do not know about how their arteries actually function. Blood pressure is not a static number that stays locked in place once you wake up. It is a highly volatile metric that ebbs and flows dramatically based on your circadian rhythm, stress, digestion, and physical activity. If you only strap that cuff to your arm at 8 in the morning and assume you are safe all day, you are missing the most dangerous spikes. A groundbreaking study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association tracked over 1,200 seniors for 12 months and found that 47% of patients who had perfectly normal morning readings experienced severe, undetected hypertensive spikes during the late afternoon. These hidden spikes place immense silent pressure on the delicate endothelial lining of your blood vessels when you are most active. This constant battering causes microscopic tears in arterial walls. Your body responds by sending cholesterol to patch them up, rapidly accelerating the buildup of rigid plaque. This narrows the arteries, forcing your heart muscle to pump harder, creating a vicious cycle of cardiovascular damage that you are entirely unaware of. Let me tell you about William, a 71-year-old retired engineer from Michigan. William was incredibly diligent about his health. Every morning at 7:30, his pressure was consistently 120/80. His doctor praised his discipline. But William started noticing a strange, dull throbbing at the base of his skull every afternoon, accompanied by a tight feeling in his chest. He ignored it for weeks. One Thursday afternoon, the throbbing became unbearable, and he felt a sudden weakness in his left arm, dropping his coffee mug. His wife rushed him to the emergency room, where his blood pressure was a terrifying 190/110. William later said, "I could not believe the doctors. I checked my pressure that morning and I was perfectly normal. I honestly thought the machine was broken." The truth is, his morning medication was wearing off completely by mid-afternoon, leaving his blood vessels unprotected. To avoid this trap, you need to change how you monitor your numbers. You must practice varied temporal monitoring. For 1 full week every single month, test your blood pressure 3 times a day. Take one reading in the morning, another mid-afternoon, and a final reading right before bed. Ensure your feet are flat on the floor, your back is supported, and you have not had caffeine. Write all 3 numbers in a dedicated journal. This creates a comprehensive map of your cardiovascular rhythm, revealing exactly when your medication might be wearing off. This habit gives your doctor the exact data needed to adjust your treatment and prevent a stroke. Moving on to number 2, we have another silent danger lurking right in your kitchen. The second deadly mistake is trusting the labels on so-called healthy foods while completely ignoring the invisible sodium traps hiding in plain sight. Most people over 60 managing hypertension will dutifully put away the salt shaker. They stop sprinkling extra salt on eggs and genuinely think they have solved the dietary problem. But here is the shocking truth about sodium consumption that the food industry hides. The actual salt you add at the table accounts for less than 11% of your total daily sodium intake. The vast majority of the sodium violently driving up your blood pressure is hidden deep inside processed foods that do not even taste salty. We are talking about innocent-looking whole wheat bread, canned vegetable soups, low-fat salad dressings, and processed turkey slices marketed as heart-healthy choices. When you ingest this hidden sodium, it rapidly enters your bloodstream and acts like a powerful magnet for water. Your kidneys become overwhelmed by the sudden massive sodium load. To dilute the salt circulating in your blood, your body retains water, significantly increasing the total volume of blood flowing through your veins. Imagine turning up the water pressure in an old garden hose to its absolute maximum capacity until it strains and risks bursting. That is exactly what is happening to the fragile blood vessels in your brain and heart every time you eat a supposedly healthy can of soup. A comprehensive study published in the journal Circulation analyzed dietary habits of seniors over a 5-year period and found that individuals who unknowingly consumed these hidden sodium traps had an 89% higher risk of developing resistant hypertension, which is high blood pressure that absolutely does not respond to standard medication. I want to share the compelling story of Margaret, a 65-year-old retired teacher from Florida. Margaret was terrified of having a stroke, so she was incredibly strict about her daily diet. She never touched the salt shaker and proudly ate a turkey sandwich on whole wheat bread with a bowl of canned tomato soup every single day for lunch, believing this was the ultimate heart-healthy meal. Despite her incredible discipline, her blood pressure kept climbing, reaching an alarming 165/95. Her doctor kept increasing her medication dosage, leaving her dizzy and exhausted. Margaret said, "I was literally crying in the doctor's office because I was eating nothing but healthy foods. I was trying so hard, yet my heart was racing and my numbers were terrifyingly high." When a clinical nutritionist looked closely, they discovered her healthy lunch contained over 2,300 milligrams of sodium. Once Margaret swapped the canned soup for homemade bone broth and replaced the processed turkey with fresh roasted chicken, her blood pressure dropped 22 points in just 6 weeks without an extra pill. To protect yourself, you must become a ruthless label reader. Do not look at the front packaging full of deceptive marketing lies. Look directly at the nutrition facts panel on the back. The golden rule you must follow is the 1-to-1 ratio. For every single calorie in a serving of food, there should be no more than 1 milligram of sodium. Furthermore, actively increase your dietary potassium intake with foods like avocados and sweet potatoes to counteract the sodium you accidentally consume. Potassium signals your kidneys to flush excess sodium out through your urine. This simple shift in how you view the grocery store aisles will do wonders to lower your blood pressure safely. If you are finding this information valuable, hit that like button so more seniors can see it. And subscribe if you have not already. We share new health tips every single day to help you stay healthy. Now, let us continue to the third mistake concerning your daily routine. The third mistake brings us to a terrifying reality about when you actually swallow your pill. Taking your blood pressure medication at the exact same wrong time every single day is a massive error that is silently accelerating heart damage while you sleep. For decades, the standard medical advice has been to take your blood pressure medication first thing in the morning with your breakfast. It is easy to remember and seems to make logical sense. But what the majority of people do not know is that your cardiovascular system operates on a very specific biological clock known as your circadian rhythm. During the night, while you are in deep sleep, your blood pressure is supposed to drop naturally by 10 to 20%. This nocturnal dip is a critical resting period for your heart muscle and blood vessels, allowing them to repair the cellular damage accumulated during the day. However, as we age, we often lose this natural nighttime dip. Instead of resting, our blood pressure remains stubbornly high all night long. This condition, known medically as non-dipping, is one of the absolute strongest predictors of a fatal stroke or sudden heart attack. When you take your medication in the morning, the peak effect of the drug occurs during the middle of the day, but it completely wears off by the time you go to sleep. This leaves your cardiovascular system entirely unprotected during those critical overnight hours when your body is supposed to be healing. A landmark study published in the New England Journal of Medicine followed over 19,000 patients for 6 years to investigate this chronotherapy phenomenon. Researchers discovered something that shocked the medical community. Patients who simply took their blood pressure medication at bedtime rather than in the morning saw a stunning 41% reduction in their risk of suffering a major cardiovascular event. Moreover, their overall kidney function improved significantly over the 6 years because the delicate filtration vessels were granted relief from relentless high pressure during the night. Let me introduce you to Robert, a 74-year-old retired factory worker from Pennsylvania. Robert had been taking his lisinopril every morning at 8 o'clock for over 10 years. His daytime readings were always perfectly acceptable, usually around 125/85. However, Robert started waking up in the middle of the night with a violently pounding heart, extreme shortness of breath, and terrible night sweats. He felt exhausted during the day. His doctor initially diagnosed him with sleep apnea, but Robert said, "I knew it was not just my breathing. I could literally feel my heart slamming against my ribs at 2 in the morning. It felt like a car engine running out of control in my chest." A specialist ordered a 24-hour continuous monitor. While Robert had normal pressure during the day, his numbers were spiking to 180/110 while he was asleep. His morning medication was completely gone by midnight. His doctor simply instructed him to move his daily pill to bedtime. Within just 3 weeks, Robert's nighttime spikes vanished entirely, and his morning fatigue completely disappeared. The practical instruction here requires extreme caution. You must never change the timing of your medication without explicitly consulting your prescribing doctor first. Some medications, like certain diuretics, must be taken in the morning so you are not waking up to use the bathroom all night, which increases fall risks. However, if you are taking ACE inhibitors or calcium channel blockers, ask your doctor about chronotherapy at your next appointment. Ask if shifting your pill to the evening could help you achieve that vital nocturnal dip. This single conversation could literally save your life. Moving right along, let us talk about a mistake that happens right in front of your doctor. The fourth mistake is perhaps the most dangerous trap of all, and it happens right inside your doctor's office. It is the white coat over-medication spiral, and falling for this can lead to devastating physical injuries. The truth is that a medical clinic is a highly stressful environment for anyone, especially seniors. You have to navigate busy traffic, find parking, sit in a sterile waiting room, and worry intensely about what the doctor might find. By the time the nurse wraps that cold cuff around your arm, your sympathetic nervous system is entirely in overdrive. Your brain has signaled your adrenal glands to release a massive flood of cortisol and adrenaline into your bloodstream. These stress hormones cause your blood vessels to constrict sharply and your heart rate to accelerate, instantly driving your blood pressure through the roof. This is a perfectly natural physiological survival response, not a true reflection of your daily resting cardiovascular health. Yet in countless clinics around the world, doctors look at this artificially inflated number, assume your hypertension is completely out of control, and immediately prescribe a higher dose of medication or add a second drug. Here is the terrifying catch that nobody warns you about. When you go back home, sit in your comfortable armchair, and your stress levels naturally return to normal, your true lower blood pressure returns. But now you have a massive, unnecessary dose of chemical medication circulating in your system. This drops your blood pressure to dangerously low levels, a condition known as severe hypotension. A major study published in the Archives of Internal Medicine reviewed the medical files of thousands of seniors and found that 34% of patients who were aggressively treated based solely on high clinic readings suffered from severe hypotensive episodes at home. This sudden drop in blood pressure deprives the brain of oxygen-rich blood, leading to severe dizziness, fainting spells, and catastrophic falls. The researchers noted that medication-induced falls are one of the leading causes of hip fractures in individuals over 60. Consider the terrifying experience of Eleanor, a 69-year-old retired librarian from California. Eleanor went in for a routine checkup, and because she had been deeply anxious about a recent argument with her daughter, her clinic blood pressure read a shocking 175/90. Her doctor looked at the chart and immediately doubled her daily dose of amlodipine. Eleanor trusted her doctor implicitly and took the new double dose the next morning. Later that afternoon, she stood up quickly from her gardening bench to answer the ringing telephone. The world instantly went black. Eleanor fainted, crashing onto her concrete patio and shattering her right hip. Eleanor later said, "The doctors at the hospital told me my blood pressure after the fall was 90/50. I was practically poisoned by my medicine because they reacted to one single stressful moment in the clinic. You must take proactive steps to protect yourself from the white coat over-medication spiral. Keep a detailed written log of your home blood pressure readings and bring it with you to every single medical appointment. For 2 solid weeks before your appointment, take your blood pressure at home in a calm environment twice a day and write down the numbers clearly. When the nurse takes your reading in the clinic and it is alarmingly high, firmly hand them your written log and explain that your home average is normal. If a doctor insists on doubling your medication based on a single stressed reading, request a 24-hour ambulatory monitor before agreeing to any changes. You must be the unwavering advocate for your own cardiovascular safety. Now, let us move to the final mistake. If you are finding this information valuable, hit that like button so more seniors can see it, and subscribe to the channel if you have not already, because we share new health tips every single day. Now, let us move to the final and most dangerous mistake of all. The fifth and absolute worst mistake you can make with your blood pressure over the age of 60 is falling for the illusion of the perfect reading and deciding to play doctor yourself by abruptly stopping your medication. This is a silent, completely preventable killer. You have been taking your prescribed medication faithfully for 6 months. You check your blood pressure one morning, and it displays a perfect 115/75. A highly dangerous thought enters your mind. You think your blood pressure is cured, so you do not need these synthetic chemical pills anymore. You toss the bottle away, feeling victorious. But here is the shocking truth about how these powerful medications interact with your internal physiology. Hypertension is rarely a temporary infection. It is typically a chronic, structural issue involving the physical rigidity of your aging arteries. The medication is not permanently curing the disease. It is acting as a chemical dam, holding back the immense pressure. When you abruptly stop taking that medication, the dam breaks. Your body experiences severe rebound hypertension. Because your cardiovascular system has adapted to relying on the drug, suddenly removing it causes the blood vessels to violently spasm. Within 48 hours, your blood pressure can skyrocket to levels much higher than before you even started the medication. A vital study published in the American Heart Association Journal followed over 2,000 patients and discovered that 67% of individuals who abruptly ceased their antihypertensive therapy experienced a dangerous rebound effect that significantly increased their immediate risk of a hemorrhagic stroke, which is when a delicate blood vessel bursts inside the brain due to sudden violent pressure. This is exactly what happened to James, a 77-year-old retired postal worker from Texas. James absolutely despised taking medications. After adopting a Mediterranean diet, his blood pressure normalized. Believing his new diet was the ultimate cure, he completely stopped taking his daily beta blocker without telling his cardiologist. For the first 2 days, he felt fine. But on the 3rd day, he was struck by a headache so severe it blinded him with pain, followed by a total loss of speech. His blood pressure had skyrocketed to 210/120. He suffered a massive stroke that permanently paralyzed the right side of his body. James later communicated through a speech therapist, "I thought I was doing the right thing for my body by getting off the toxic drugs. I thought the good numbers meant I was completely healed, and that single foolish decision ruined my golden years." The rule here is absolute. You must never stop taking your blood pressure medication simply because your numbers look good on your home monitor. The numbers look good entirely because the medication is circulating in your bloodstream and doing its job. The correct protocol is to take your log of normal readings to your doctor and ask if it is safe to begin a carefully monitored tapering process. A good doctor will slowly reduce the dosage by tiny fractions over several months, monitoring how your vascular system responds. This slow tapering prevents violent vessel spasms and protects your brain from a catastrophic bleed. So there you have it, the 5 absolute worst blood pressure mistakes that seniors make every single day, often completely unaware of the deadly cardiovascular damage they are causing to their own bodies. From relying entirely on a single deceptive morning reading to ignoring the massive hidden sodium traps in supposedly healthy foods in your pantry, we also covered taking your life-saving medication at the wrong time of day and missing the nocturnal dip, falling victim to the white coat over-medication spiral in the stressful clinic, and finally, the catastrophic error of abruptly stopping your pills just because your monitor showed a normal number. Each of these deadly mistakes stems from a fundamental misunderstanding of how complex, dynamic, and delicate your cardiovascular system truly is as you age. But today, you have armed yourself with the scientific truth that most doctors simply do not have the time to explain during a brief visit. The power to change your health trajectory is now entirely in your hands. Small, educated, deliberate changes to your daily routine can dramatically extend your life and preserve your precious independence for decades to come. I want you to take a moment and deeply think about your own daily habits and what you might be doing wrong without realizing it. Now, I would love to hear from you. Which of these 5 dangerous mistakes surprised you the most? And what is one specific change you are going to make to your routine starting today? Drop a comment below and let me know what you think, because your personal experience might just save someone else's life who is reading the comments. If you found this video helpful and eye-opening, please tap that like button right now. It really helps us reach and protect more seniors across the world. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you will never miss our daily health tips designed specifically for your age and your body. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and please stay healthy.